Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21. A conversation between Swambhuva Manu and Kardamuni, text number 16 onwards. Prajapateste vachsadhishitantya lokah kilayam kamhatvanu aham cha lokanugato vahami balim cha shucha nimishaya tubhyam. O my Lord, you are the master and leader of all living entities. Under your direction, all conditioned souls, as if bound by rope, are constantly engaged in satisfying their desires. Following them, O embodiment of religion, I also bear oblations for you, who are eternal time. In the Kat Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Lord is the leader of all living entities. He is the sustainer and the awarder of all the necessities and desires. No living entity is independent. No living entity is independent. Everybody is dependent on the Supreme Lord for the maintenance. All are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Vedic instruction is that one should enjoy life under the direction of the Supreme Leader, the personality of Godhead. Vedic literatures like Ishopanishad direct that since everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should not encroach upon another's property, but should enjoy one's individual allotment. The best program for every living entity is to take directions from the Supreme Lord and enjoy material or spiritual life. So everybody is dependent on the Supreme Lord for His mercy, for for their sustenance and living and maintenance. But Ishopanishad says very nicely, one should not encroach upon another's property. Everybody will get whatever is due to them from by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. But if we encroach upon others' property, if we forcibly try to take away somebody's property beyond our quota, whatever is assigned to us, then we'll have to pay for it. If not now, next life or some other life, we will have to pay. Cannot run away from that. But somehow this message, this knowledge is missing from the general public these days. Everybody thinks, funny thing is, whenever we are doing something pious activity, we offer it to the Lord, or we hope that the Lord is watching and He gives me the result of that pious activity. But whenever we are doing some sinful activity, we forget that the Lord is watching that as well, and we'll get the reaction of that as well. We cannot run away. It's so much of fun for some people to encroach upon another's property, to try to steal, or not just steal. Steal is a very small word. Rob somebody of its property, and then the reaction will be there, and because of those reactions, we are suffering. A question may be raised: since Karda Muni was advanced in spiritual life, why then did he not ask the Lord for liberation? Why did he want to enjoy material life in spite of his personally seeing and experiencing the Supreme Lord? The answer is that not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. It is everyone's duty, therefore, to enjoy according to his present position, but under the direction of the Lord or the Vedas. The Vedas are considered to be the direct words of the Lord. The Lord gives us the opportunity to enjoy material life as we want, and at the same time, He gives directions for the modes and processes of abiding by the Vedas so that gradually one may be elevated to liberation from material bondage. So the Lord gives the direction for both, like in the previous paragraph also Prabhupada says, Lord gives the chance for to enjoy both material or spiritual life. Depends what we want to enjoy. So spiritual life is also not without enjoyment. It's full of enjoyment. It's a real enjoyment actually. But those who want to be in the material life, want to enjoy so-called material life, the Lord, the Supreme Lord lets us do that. But still He gives us the direction in terms of the Vedas. So the Lord gives us the opportunity to enjoy material life as we want. And at the same time, He gives directions for the modes and processes of abiding by the Vedas so that gradually one may be elevated to liberation from material bondage. So the idea is to follow the dictation or directions of the Lord so we can enjoy both material and spiritual life. And at the same time, we can get elevated, gradually elevated to liberation from material bondage. The conditioned souls who have come to the material world to fulfill their desires, to lord it over material nature, are bound by the laws of nature. The best course is to abide by the Vedic rules that will help one to be gradually elevated to liberation. So that's the best way. Follow the Vedas and gradually we will elevate ourselves for liberation. Kardam Muni addresses the Lord as Shukla, which means the leader of religion. One who is pious should follow the rules of religion, for such rules are prescribed by the Lord Himself. No one can manufacture or concoct a religion. Religion refers to the injunctions or laws of the Lord. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. So religion is injunctions or laws of the Lord. We cannot manufacture our own religion or think, oh, this must be the law of the Lord, and this I think is the best law of the Lord, or whatever. No, whatever Krishna says, whatever Krishna instructs, whatever He wants, that is religion. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that religion means to surrender unto Him. Therefore, one should follow the Vedic regulations and surrender unto the Supreme Lord, because that is the ultimate goal of perfection in human life. One should live a life of piety, follow the religious rules and regulations, marry and live peacefully for elevations to the higher status of spiritual realization. Marry and live peacefully. Wow, that sounds like an oxymoron. But no, there are ways. If both husband and wife are following the rules of scriptures, they can live as happily and together, peacefully together. But obviously, this marry is not for those who want to follow brahmacharya. So they can follow and still make progress. Of course, they can make better progress. But everybody can make progress in the spiritual path. Idea is to live according to the scriptures. Lokascha lokanugatan pashunscha hitva shritaste charanat patram parasparam tvad gunavad sidhu piyush niryapit deha dharma. However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of equalities and activities and discussions with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of the material body. After describing the necessity of married life, Kardamuni asserts that marriage and other social affairs are stereotyped regulations for persons who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. The principles of animal life, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, are actually necessities of the body, But those who engage in transcendental Krishna consciousness, giving up all the stereotyped activities of this material world, are freed from social conventions. Hmm. So Prabhupada opens up the Prabhupada. Marriage and other social affairs are stereotyped regulations for persons who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. So stereotype means whatever has become a norm of fashion. That that this is the norm now for that everybody should get married. But of course, this is who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. But again, ashram is called grihastha ashram. Now there are the two terms, grihastha and grihmedhi. I think we have discussed it before. Grihastha means one who gets married but still lives in the married life in the house, but still following the rules and regulations, still following the Vedic scriptures. Grihmedhi is the one who just doesn't follow any rules. His philosophy is eat, drink, and be merry. Khao, piyo, jio. So, so those who are following the rules, they are still considered in an ashram. Ashram means where one makes spiritual progress. So that ashram is okay. That is one of the four ashrams. That is perfectly all right according to one ashram. But Prabhupada is saying that those who are engaged in transcendental Krishna consciousness, those who have become devotees, they are freed from social conventions. They don't need to follow this. But those who want to follow as a matter of keeping up the tradition or as a matter of leading the society properly, correctly, because most of the people in the society are going to be grihasthas. They're not going to be the brahmacharis or sannyasis. So they also need a proper leader to show them how to live a life as a grihastha and still make advancement in spiritual path. Just like one of our acharyas, in fact, most of our acharyas have been grihasthas. And one of the major acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was grihastha. He had a job. He was a high court judge and he had 11 or 12 kids. And still he is considered seventh Goswami. So being a grihastha is not like a setback that we cannot make progress. and Kardamuni did ask for like-minded association or like-minded wife. One has to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions in order to enjoy material life. But those who have taken to the devotional service of the Lord are not afraid of the regulations of this material world. Such devotees do not care for conventions or material activities. They boldly take to that shelter, which is like an umbrella against the sun of the repeated birth and death. They boldly take to that shelter, which is like an umbrella. So they take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constant transmigration of the soul from one body to another is a cause of suffering in material existence. This conditional life in material existence is called samsara. One may perform good work and take his birth in a very nice material conditions, but the process under which birth and death takes place is like a terrible fire. It's a terrible fire that is called samsara davan. This whole material world is like a burning fire, just like we recently saw the forest fire in Australia, how severely it burns, and nobody can run away. So many, 50 million animals died over there in that forest fire. And this is how it is burning us in the material. We are getting burned in the material world. We just don't see that forest fire around us. That's why we have to have the Shastra Chakshu, scriptures, eyes, eyes of the scriptures. So through the scriptures we can see, like Prabhupada explaining, this this material world is like it's samsara. Samsara means what goes on, birth, death, old age, disease. But again, it's called samsara davanal. Davanal means a forest fire. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his prayer to the spiritual master, has described this. Sansar, or the repetition of birth and death, is compared to a forest fire. A forest fire takes place automatically, without anyone's endeavor, by the friction of dried wood, and no fire department or sympathetic person can extinguish it. The raging forest fire can be extinguished only when there is a constant downpour of water from a cloud. In fact, the same thing happened in Australia when it started raining. Everybody was like, yes, now we will be able to extinguish the forest fire. The cloud is compared to the mercy of the spiritual master. By the grace of the spiritual master, the cloud of the mercy of the personality of Godhead is brought in, and then only when the rains of Krishna consciousness fall can the fire of material existence be extinguished. This is also explained here. Everybody is burning in this forest fire. The miseries, adidevik, adibhautik, adhyatmic klesha, misery of birth, death, old age, disease, it's burning everybody. Everybody is suffering from that. We think if I have lots of money, I won't suffer from that. We'll definitely suffer more than we are suffering. More money means more enemies. More enemies means more miseries, more suffering. In order to find freedom from the stereotyped conditional life of material existence, one has to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Not in the manner in which the impersonalists indulge, but in devotional service, chanting and hearing of the activities of the Lord. Only then can one be freed from the actions and reactions of material existence. So only by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, in devotional service, chanting and hearing the activities of the Lord. It is recommended here that one should give up the conditional life of this material world and the association of so-called civilized human beings for simply following, in a polished way, the same stereotyped principles of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord is described as Tad Gunvada Sidhu. Only by drinking the nectar of chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord can one forget the intoxication of material existence or the miseries of material existence. Because this katha, Krishna katha, is so strong, so juicy, so nectarian, so satisfying to the heart. Otherwise, this material world is burning everybody. Every single person is suffering here. And there is no way out. There is no other way out. Na tejaraksha bhramirayuresham trayodasharam trishatam shashti parva shanyemyananta chhadi yat trinabhi Sroto Jagadachidya Bhavata. Your wheel, which has three naves, rotates around the axis of the impersonal Brahman. It has 13 spokes, 360 joints, 6 rims, and numberless leaves carved upon it. Though its revolution cuts short the lifespan of the entire creation, this wheel of tremendous velocity cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. The time factor cannot affect the span of life for the devotees. In fact, it is said in the thing, this verse comes in the first canto's chapter, that Ayur Harti Vapunsam Udyamastam Chayannaso. Tasyartha Yachalonita Uttam Shlok Bhartiya. That every person's age is decreasing, lifespan is decreasing by the rising and setting of the sun. Except the one who is engaged, Uttam Shlok Bharti, who is engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Because those who are devotees in this life, they're hearing and chanting. Once the life is over, they go to the spiritual world and continue the same process. For them, the life, the death is nothing, just transformation of the body, change of the body. And many times the devotees in this very self-same body, they go back. There are examples. But for materialistic persons, when they leave the body, they have to suffer while leaving the body. And after they leave the body, they have to take birth again and again, old age, disease, death, and again birth, old age, disease, death. So there is no end. So they are the ones who are really suffering. And their life is reducing day by day because they're going towards death. There's no, their body will also get changed, but they don't know and they don't have any realizations of that. The greatest danger is transmigration of the soul from one body to another, and only devotional service to the Lord can stop this process. It is stated in the Vedic literatures, Harim Vinana Mritin Taranti, without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot stop the cycle of birth and death. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that only by understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord and his activities, his appearance and disappearance, can one stop the cycle of birth and death and go back to him. The time factor is divided into many fractions of moments, hours, months, years, periods, seasons, etc. All the divisions in this verse are determined according to the astronomical calculations of Vedic literature. There are 6 seasons called Ritus, and there is a period of 4 months called Chaturmasya. 3 periods of 4 months complete 1 year. According to Vedic astronomical calculations, there are 13 months. The 13th month is called Adhimas or Malamas and is added every 3rd year. The time factor, however, cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees. In other words, it is stated that when the sun rises and sets, it takes away the life of all living entities, but it cannot take away the life of those who are engaged in devotional service. Time is compared here to a big wheel which has 360 joints, 6 rims in the shapes of seasons, and numberless leaves in the shape of movements. It rotates on the eternal existence, Brahman. So that time, the time cycle keeps going and going and going. And so many seasons will come, so many months, hours, years will keep on changing. And everybody is losing their life, except the devotees. So they also get old. It's not that devotees don't get old. So bodies get old, but not the consciousness. Consciousness remains stable. Or in fact, it gets more and more spiritualized with the passage of time. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nicely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mata. I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare